Well, welcome everybody to the Loz and Over podcast, where we talk about stars and life and who we are and identity and everything that sits in between. Today we've got a very special guest. She's also my niece, and someone that's not afraid to be themselves. So we're going to get deep into why and how she is the way she is. It's going to be really interesting because Catherine's going to put up a lot of barriers. She tends to do that, and so we're going to try and get underneath those folds and underneath those barriers and figure out what's happening here and what motivates you. So Catherine, say hello to everyone.
Hey guys.
Nice to talk to you, Kath. Thanks for being here. That's part of your personal history. You're the child of my sister and her partner, who was significantly older than her.
Yeah, 20 years older.
Yeah. It was really, from my point of view as a child, I was under 5 or less than, probably 4 when your parents got together. So I didn't know any different. I didn't know that was something that was frowned upon at the time.
Was it?
Yeah.
I guess it still would be. 20 years difference for a 23-year-old and a 45-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it now and I get it. But I mean, at the time when you were a child growing up in the household, did you notice people making comments, or was there anything that was going on in the household that kind of made you think twice about that?
I think I know that people disrespected my mum.
Yeah.
Or they didn't respect her as much as they respected Dad.
Oh, I see.
So I felt maybe I was influenced by that kind of sexual identity stuff.
That's really interesting. I mean, your dad was a wonderful man. Like when I think of the kind of, he was like an example of in the 90s about what you wanted men to be. He was kind of strong and big, but very sensitive and really able to talk to you. Talk to women as well. He had a really good way with women. He wasn't gross. So that must have been really interesting having that as a father.
I mean, not always. Obviously, he had depression sometimes and stuff like that. Yeah, but generally, in terms of I could tell that he treated people fairly and he was considerate and reflective, and he wasn't just like a knee-jerk kind of reactive person.
Yeah. Where did you grow up? Where were you born and where did you grow up?
So I was born in Coffs Harbour, which is a New South Wales town.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know much about it. I think it's a little bit country bumpkin, but kind of also some progressive stuff as well. My parents had a bar. Apparently they used to keep me in the cellar in the bassinet while they were working. Yay! The cellar! And my parents were casual people. Well, that was their identity at the time.
Yeah.
But then when they moved to Melbourne, I guess that changed.
How old were you when they moved to Melbourne?
3 months only.
So then you came to Melbourne, and which area did you live in Melbourne?
Well, my first memories are Footscray.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah.
But first memories of Footscray, very multicultural. A lot of, I think, my identity is impacted by the fact that my best friend was from Zimbabwe. My other neighbours were Italian and Vietnamese and everything.
Yeah.
And so I think culture for me was, and my identity building was very much, I don't know. I guess it's a little bit like culture clash as well.
Right. Yeah.
Modern society. It's kind of all these conflicting sort of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the warmth and the sharing of each of the cultures is kind of, was a big deal, sharing food.
It was really, there was a nice feel about the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
It was a nice street feel. There was probably, aside from the drug dealer down the road,
Oh, really?
Yeah. But everyone, you know, there was the grandkids of the next door neighbours, and they were really sweet, and everyone kind of got along. And everyone went to the pool together. There was a much more of a community vibe than you would probably imagine. Because people were more like they were bound to home, and in summer it was because it was a court. Everyone could come outside and play outside without random cars coming through. So there was cricket and
I remember playing cricket
and all that. Yeah. I often I you know, I've said this to you before. I often think of you and your brother as well. Like there's a part of your identity that's kind of special, and it comes. I always like that.
That we think we're special.
Yeah,
like egotistical. You mean?
Part of your I'm not egotistical, but probably part of your ego is that you're special. Do you think that kind of comes from that?
I think I've worked through that, to be honest, with like a lot of the Buddhist stuff.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that is basically like, don't ever think you're special.
Yes.
Like everybody is special.
Yes.
Which makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to appreciate everyone equally.
Yes.
You can't think that you're special.
Yes.
So I feel like I've undone that.
Yeah.
I definitely
But you can know that in theory, but in action.
Oh, I definitely probably think my ego sometimes wants people to treat me like with exception.
Yeah.
But I think that's also because like Dad would do everything for us.
And okay.
There's other aspects to it.
Yeah, okay.
Like there weren't enough expectations or discipline. I don't think we were really taught that psychology, you know?
Yeah. But what did it feel like him being he as a father to you? What did that feel like? You just said he did everything for you. What does that mean?
He was like doting, you know?
Yeah.
To the point where maybe I was a bit of a brat.
Yeah.
Like always ask, like I remember asking for like a glass of water when I was in bed, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get out of bed. I'd be like, Dad, bring me a glass of water. He would do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like if I was whinging about something, he would just like take over or something.
And he was sick. For those bits where you're an adult, he had started to get sick.
Yeah.
Or start to think more adult, like an adult.
Yeah, that was when he started to change and he became more self-absorbed.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird because Mum was the self-absorbed one, you know.
Right.
And like he could let her be self-absorbed.
Yeah.
But like for him to become self-absorbed, it was like, that's weird. What's going on?
Oh, that's very unstable for you.
And then Mum was so self-absorbed that it was like there was no one anymore.
Right.
That's what it felt like.
And how did you respond, or how did Michael respond to that?
I became like neurotic and I had OCD. And I became like Dad's nurse. Like that was how I coped. It was like taking on the role.
Right.
Of like his listener and his nurse and like we went around Australia when we were 11 and we were camping and visiting like Indigenous sacred sites, and so we were exposed to that side of culture.
Yeah, I mean that was the amazing opportunity you had with your dad.
Mm-hmm. So that was kind of cool to like not be in just like white Australia. So I've never been like whitewashed Australian. Completely. I mean, I feel like I'm a Melbourne snob.
Yeah.
Like, grown up in like, oh, Melbourne, like, you've got all this like trendy choice.
Yeah.
And there's like a bit of a bouginess to Melbourne sometimes. But there's also like a lot of subcultures.
You know, there's a lot of diversity in our family and people kind of think differently. Some people think the same. How do you see yourself?
Well, I like alternative lifestyles. Other people think is somehow a little bit crazy.
And
but for me, that is like embracing my ancient self my ancient wisdom self, which is too woo-woo for anyone for me to talk about. But for me, I like the idea of slowing down, connecting with like fire elements and like water elements and like the sun, just really connecting with the elements. Laurie's tuned out.
I think you, my personal perspective on you, and it's probably maybe unfair, but I feel like you might romanticize that more than.
I don't think I romanticize it. And this is kind of about my temperament. Because I feel like I never really knew my temperament because Mum didn't really know what my temperament was.
Right.
Because it was kind of like covered over since I was a baby.
Yes.
So the way that I found my temperament again is like living on the land and living in nature and connecting to like my inner knowing.
Yeah.
My intuition. My feeling senses again.
Yeah.
So what I sense and feel and know from those things.
Yeah.
Which is different to being articulated to from an adult. Your experience, you know?
Yes.
It's kind of the difference between Gestalt and like normal like psychology. It's in explaining behaviour. Yeah. So I know that's a big interest for me.
And do you see that as informing what your practice will be as someone that's guiding another person through their own journey?
I think definitely in terms of, obviously there are going to be people who have the same sensate experiences that I do.
Yeah.
Who can also have trouble with that.
Yeah.
In like the modern world, especially, you know, with like the rise of ADHD and whatever. I think someone else I know was talking about ADHD can be a really good survival. It's actually could be like a person who's really good at survival in terms of you can pick up on so many different things in an environment to survive.
Yeah.
But when you're in the modern world, there's like, we could anticipate so many things as threats.
Yeah.
And then to try and mitigate all those threats while trying to do what you're doing is like.
Right, yes.
It's so.
I can understand that as someone with anxiety and possibly with undiagnosed ADHD. I definitely see threats where there aren't any. What about if you were dealing with someone that didn't think like that at all? How do you think?
I think like here and now stuff is still works.
Yeah.
You don't have to use language
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to ascribe it to anything, and I guess you can be more client led.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you're thinking.
In the here and now.
Yeah.
I think it's just important to have the understanding and the framework of understanding different ways of seeing.
Yeah.
I don't think I would. Well, I've already come to the point over the years where I think when I was younger I would want to be like other people and like push my ideas onto people.
Yeah.
I think I've grown up, especially with you, with totally different ways of seeing the world, and I respect you. Like, it's good to I can respect you, and we have a different way of seeing.
Well, definitely, and even thinking of things like Marie Jose, who is my brother's wife. Who is culturally different. She's from Spain, and so she sees the world differently, but but you can really respect the way that she sees it. It's like, I think we've got you. You're lucky in some senses. Like you've got this big family that you can kind of draw from.
Yeah, because you can't box anyone in our family.
Yes,
we're not all a white bread.
No.
Family at all.
No, even though we are all white.
Well, except for the husbands and the wives.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. We're all kind of married.
Into other cultures.
Yeah. And I've always wondered about that.
And languages as well.
Yeah.
So there's always been other languages spoken.
Yes, in the home. Yeah. The fact that we live in Melbourne, where it's multicultural, and we live in kind of northwest Melbourne, or is it a factor of like, you know, My parents were very conservative, but they were kind of open. They're probably more open than other people's
They
parents.
liked the exotic. I feel like your parents secretly like the exotic. Like, that's why Grandpa liked Grandma.
Yeah.
She was like his flower.
Yeah. She called her that in letters and stuff. My my dark rose, I think. Gross. But for anyone, like my mum looked, even though she wasn't, she looked brown. Like,
she looked Spanish.
She presented as Spanish, or my Spanish rose. That's it. Do you see yourself as a feminist?
I've always been a feminist.
Yep, you do. And how will you bring that feminist into practice? Like, particularly if you're seeing male clients, like, what does that mean? What do you think that might mean?
I think it means not bending to the will of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna just because someone sounds charming and like they're right. You know, as a feminist, I guess you learn how to hold different points of view.
Challenge?
Like the feminist point of view.
Yes. Will you challenge them? If your clients coming in and saying some things, like maybe they're complaining about their partner, and they're saying some things that you're like, that's actually a little bit.
But I think that's also human led. Like, it won't always be feminist. It could just be like, how do you treat another human being? And how do you balance? Like, maybe it might not be important to go the feminist if maybe you need to deal with these other things in their identity first before you kind of address the feminist issue in the room. Yeah, I don't think I would be an aggressive feminist, if that makes sense.
Yes, that does. Yeah.
Because I'm not. It's not about my agenda.
Yes, right.
You know, and if someone, we all have rigid patterns and ways of thinking, and even women have in a patriarch. So it's not like you're going to change that overnight. Yeah. In one session. You need to be able to kind of understand that not everyone's going to think like you. Like there's so many varied people. But that when you get older, you also need to become more humble. Well, I think or you just do by experience. Just learn them. What do you think you will need to be like with all this talk? When you're thinking about yourself and your supervision, what do you think you need to be aware of? So I think I definitely would have to be careful because sometimes I can make stupid associations like anyone. But I think it's really important to have a client led. Great. And obviously you can't make any assumptions about how people feel about culture.